if you're tithing to get, obedience doesn't always equal blessing.
Right.
If that's what you're looking to get, then your heart posture is in the wrong place.
Welcome to Profits to the Profits podcast, where all things are possible when love is your bottom line. All are welcome here: entrepreneurs, business professionals, tradespeople, bus drivers, scuba divers, and high fivers. Woo! Doesn't matter. Just give us 20 minutes, and we think that you'll get something out of it, at least a good laugh. And we are so happy to have Mr. Doug Greathouse back into the house for another discussion about something related to business, money, and our Christian walk. Doug, thank you so much for coming back.
Pleasure to be here.
It's been a while. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I know.
But first, we like to break the ice and with a quick, fun discussion about something simple. And if you want to skip to the 5-minute mark, you can just skip our little discussion here about something simple. But otherwise, stick around because I have a question I want to ask you guys. Do you guys ever play mundane games to help you pass time?
Yeah. I play Uno.
I don't mean just like, you want to pass some time with something, recreational. I'm talking about, I'll give you an example. What I do so you can know what I'm talking about. My intersection, when I'm trying to pull out onto a road, depending on the time of day, can be sometimes I'll have to wait for dozens and dozens and dozens of cars to pass. So to help me kind of get through that wait, I actually count the cars that pass because I want to see if it'll break a record of the amount of cars that I have to wait for. And sometimes it gets close to that record, and I don't even mind waiting an extra few seconds to get the record.
That odd? I had never heard of that.
So that's one thing I do. Huh. Or then I'll give you one more, and then you guys tell me if something sparks your memory about something you do. When I'm pumping gas, I come up with a number in my head of what it's going to be to fill the tank exactly when the thing clicks.
Oh,
so I'll come up with $47.22 to see how close I get. And I don't mind sitting there waiting as much because I'm like, am I going to get how close am I going to get? Am I going to be within 17 cents like I was the day before or what?
That's cool.
You guys do anything like that?
Yeah, I would have to say I do the gas thing with gallons, though. I don't do the amount because I don't want to do the calculation. But
no, you don't have to do the calculation. You just go for a number.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying I do the gallons.
Okay.
I see my little line on the dash, and I'm like, 14 gallons. 14.21, so I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you weird like us at all?
No, I don't do any of that. The only thing I do with the gas pump is try and get it right on the zeros.
Okay, yeah.
Or 50 cents. Like, I either try to get 50 cents or the exact dollar. It never works. I'm always 1 or 2 cents over.
I saw a funny meme. It was, the title was An OCD Nightmare, and the person was $19.99 to the gallon, but the gallons were right on the money or just over it. Oh. So it was they had to choose between which one.
Yeah. That's awesome. It was 10 gallons.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just the OCD nightmare. Which one are they going to have to not be perfect on?
That is awesome.
And then I would have to say that one thing that I think it was from a Dave Ramsey thing. It said to try to gamify your finances to see if you can get your bank account to a certain amount by a certain time, or save about a certain amount of money, or cut back enough so you don't it doesn't hurt not to spend money when you really want to. Actually, it's a reverse psychology to get you to save money.
Yeah, you're I want to hit this milestone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. I like, honestly, when you gamify anything or you attach some fun to it, it does make it easier. It really does. Yeah. Just passing the time. When you first asked the question, I thought about all the road games too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We do tons of.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's a 24-hour trip. We're going all the way to Florida from New York. Well, let's see what we can do. We'd be counting headlights that are out, or we'd count how many red trucks we see. Yeah. And we'd call it a game called Padiddle. And
I remember that.
You have to say Padiddle when you get that, and then you have to hit the ceiling on the car. Did you guys do that?
What did it with you?
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've been on road trips together. What about you, Doug?
I do remember when I was younger, Punch Bug, right? And you punch the person in the next room.
Well, what the heck was that for? Punch bug yellow. No punchbacks.
Punch bug. Oh my goodness.
All right, but the gamifying your finances, I think, is also not only just fun, but also it can be very helpful if you have situations with your finances, which kind of loosely brings us to the topic of the day. And the topic of the day is the art of the tithe.
Ooh.
We called it the art of the tithe, challenging ourselves to trust God through our tithes. And to talk more about that, we are joined by Doug Greathouse. Doug is a marketing and lead generation expert with more than 15 years of experience. God has called Doug to help Christian entrepreneurs design, launch, and grow businesses. And not only that, he is the creator of a very special app. Doug, welcome. Tell us about that app out of the gate. What is that thing called?
I love that you brought up gamification, because in the goalgetting.app, there is gamification. You can earn special badges, you can get rewards. We have really gamified that app. But the goalgetting.app is not just an app, it's also tied to live coaching, depending on the level that you're at, and a community. It is just a place where entrepreneurs can come together as a community, right, and help each other reach goals with a guide of a coach and the app itself. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, goal getting app is definitely, I would imagine any type of app, if not yours, then others out there, especially with the spiritual spin on it, is valuable. But we want everybody to check out the goal getting app first before
Absolutely.
any other app. And I think, let me ask you guys, because it just kind of came to my head, can you gamify your tithe?
Oh my goodness. Why not?
It seems like you could. But can I tithe more than more than I did last week?
The Bible, God is, from what I understand, it's the only time that God says, go ahead and challenge me. Right?
Well,
when it comes to tithing. I believe that I think there's a scripture that God basically lays out. You go ahead and test me on this one. Not challenge me, I should say. Test me on this. And tithing is the way to do that.
Yeah, he talks about giving with a cheerful heart and not out of reluctance or compulsion, just like God saying in his word. It was in 2 Corinthians. He talks about loving a cheerful giver. Mm-hmm. Like God, you want God to love you? He loves a cheerful giver. That's pretty cool. I want God to love me. That's amazing.
Can I address something in this that is on my heart? I feel like heart posture matters a ton in this. If you're tithing to get, heart posture matters a ton. Yeah. Because if you're tithing to get, obedience doesn't always equal blessing.
Right.
If that's what you're looking to get, then your heart posture is in the wrong place.
Right.
If you're tithing because it's what God has called you to do, then your heart posture is in the right place.
Yeah. So we've all struggled, I think, with tithing at one time or another. Doug, you had mentioned in our last podcast, which if you want to check it out, it's right here. Click on that link and you can see the last time Doug was on and what we talked about. It's a very great discussion on what you should do first before starting a business, and where your heart should be on that. But when it comes to tithing, we've all struggled. And Doug, you had mentioned in the last podcast that you weren't tithing for a while, and you were just talking about your heart posture, and that's a tough thing for me, because a lot of churches, a lot of Christians talk about tithing at 10%. Like that's the number, 10%. What is your take on that compared to tithing to a point where, I don't know, you're feeling like you're doing enough? What's your take, Doug?
My take on it is, if it feels uncomfortable, it's probably good.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. If it feels like there's people that 10% feels like nothing to them.
Yeah.
Right. So really, probably should they be tithing more? Probably. Right. Yeah. That's my take on it. Is if it feels like it's a stretch for you, it's probably a good thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree with that. Because it is talked about in many places about a certain percentage, right? Like first fruits off the top, and then there's special offerings and there's other things involved. But as even Jesus talked about in the New Testament, he wasn't talking about a particular percentage. He was talking about what you're saying is a heart posture. There's a cheerful heart, giving out of that, not of compulsion, just reminding us that even in an example, Mark 12, if I could read this, 41, Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put, and he watched a crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, like you said, it could have been a large amount, but to them it's 10%. But a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents, calling his disciples to him. So he's like, this is happening, and he's like, hey guys, come around. I want to show you something. I want to say something to you. He says, truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. Now here's this poor widow just coming to be honoring and faithful and worshiping the Lord, and Jesus has written her, right, in the hope of eternity here, as an example to his disciples, and used her as a beautiful example, and even how he says it. He says she put more into the treasury than all the others. Her 2 cents, right? Mm-hmm. They all gave out their wealth, right? But she, out of her poverty, she put in everything, all she had to live on. And that's just like the heart posture you're talking about.
One thing that I think about is there's a lot of wealthy people that are philanthropic, right? They give a lot, but then you look at it, some of their life, and there's a lot of sin in it. So are they giving to cover up their sin, right? Thinking that it's going to wipe away their sin? Are they using money to try and take care of their sin? Because I'm good over here, that should equate for the sins that I've committed. And that's the wrong heart posture.
Yeah, a lot of Christians will do that, mm-hmm. In one way or another, whether it's money or something else. And when you consult Christian entrepreneurs looking to get into business, do you consult them about tithing?
I do, yes. It all belongs, like that's the thing. It all belongs to the Lord, right? Mm-hmm. So no matter how much money you make in your business, it all belongs to the Lord.
How do you consult them? Like, what do you say? Back to my question, you say you better be given 10%.
No, I'm not that. I'm not like beat them with a whip kind of thing. It's more like I just make sure that is presented. Like, are you tithing right now?
Yeah.
If you're not, you should be, because your heart posture is in the wrong place if you're not.
If you understand what Jesus did for you,
mm-hmm.
right? The amazing thing that he did for us, we couldn't repay him, right? You can't. It's so valuable. There's so much value in immeasurable in what God did for us. So like you said earlier, it's all God's money anyway. So by all means, you could do it without worrying that you're not going to have enough, because he's the great provider.
Can I plug a quick charity? Something that my wife and I give to. And I see this is absolutely like giving to ministry, not just church, right? I think that's part of it. There's a ministry called Destiny's Rescue, and I don't know if you've heard of it. Destiny's Rescue.
Yes, we've been supporting that for years. I love it.
So it helps women who have been sex trafficked get established. And so we had a group, Chosen Road. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a bluegrass Christian group, and they came and they support Destiny's Rescue, and we're just blown away by the stories. So we just said, we're got to get to that.
That's amazing.
That is beautiful. It's so funny. We're from totally different states, right? And you have the same. I heard about Destiny Rescue, like one of the directors was on a radio program years ago, and I was just crying. It was like I was on lunch, and I had this radio tuned in. I was about to go into a local store, get some food, and I just sitting in my car listening, and I was crying in my car in this parking lot, right? And I was just like, I brought that back to the team, because we started giving through our work, like sponsoring them as a work offering. And what a beautiful years of stories. And then a couple of years ago, like I don't know, we've been giving very faithfully, and one of the directors reached out to us because we always kind of interject into our ministries and ask if they need something or can we help or whatever regularly. And this guy stops by. He's like, "Oh, I'm flying in from so and so. I'm going to be there for a few hours. Can I just come by and tell you a few stories? You've been faithful, and we just want to see, let you know what your work has done or what your offerings have done." Crying again. The guy was here for 2 hours just telling me stories that you can't published. Like, you can't tell these stories, right? Because they're involving governments of other countries. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness, the work that they're doing. I mean, I almost felt, because he's kind of like, you're always in danger in these situations in these other places in the world, and God carries them through every time. It's just amazing how, oh man, it's the protections, making them almost invisible. I mean, I would love to reach out to them and maybe involve you, Doug, since you're a supporter.
Okay, so we'll do a podcast. We'll
see if we can.
for a podcast.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. Okay, we'll get them on.
What a great podcast!
So you were crying a lot?
Stop pointing that out.
Was
Was that really what stood out?
Was this part of your hormone replacement therapy cycle?
Oh my goodness! Is that what stood out to you about this story?
No.
It's beautiful. I love Destiny Rescue. Look that up, guys.
All right, so let's pull this all together. Tithing, starting a business, the tithing attitude. Doug, recap the most important things that come to your mind about tithing as you're going through that in your life as a Christian.
It's not a suggestion. It's a command, right?
Amen.
And the important part of it is the heart posture to me, right? It's not true tithing unless your heart's in the right place. And kind of what Alex said is, like, if your heart posture, you shouldn't do it because your heart's not there, but your heart should get there.
Yeah.
Because it is a command.
Prophets to the prophets, here we go. Building up your life so you stand tall. Faith and fire driving every beat. Motivation grounded with a hope.